Alright, should be going. Let's see you green, YouTube. Come on. You can do. Oh, that's orange. Why is it orange? Huh. That's interesting. It says, please check the video resolution. The current resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is not optimal. It has never said this before. Okay. Hang on. Let's get the preview playing. Alright, there. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. To there. To here. Hopefully it's hooked in. Yay, it's hooked in. Yay. Yeah, so we're back. I am tired, by the way. I was up late last night, so hopefully I don't stop early because of that. But this has been an interesting week. We got plenty to talk about. I finally saw Infinity War. Normally, I mean, it would have been nice if it could have gone like last week. Because we got theaters in the area. It's really, really nice. Where we can go and, like the Thursday, so technically before the premiere, to see it like that. That would have been nice, but it doesn't always work out that we can. My brother did that, I didn't. But no, we saw it on Sunday. That is a good film. That is a good film. I don't want to spoil anything, but it, aside from some of the CG, I was like, there's one thing at the end that's like, really? How did this get through? Yeah. It was very... It looked horrible. It looked absolutely horrible. It looked like something I could do. And I can't do this stuff. But, very good film. And at least one twist that I hope that they do more with. And that's probably something that could be spoiled. It's like, it's not critical to the story, but it is a significant enough twist that no, you don't. You let people have the reaction when they see it. Yeah, so there's that. But still, it's a very good film. Very good film. Very, very well made. I feel like there's more stuff than that, but I mean, definitely the big thing that happened this week, as far as the technology news and stuff I wrote up, was that NVIDIA has terminated the GeForce Partner Program, which that how they worded the cancellation and such, it just was. I guess they're just hoping that. I mean, true, they do have a lot of mind share, so there's going to be a lot of people that would just take their word for it that it is just about battling the misinformation, that they don't want to have to do that, that all this stuff isn't true, although they didn't come out to say it, just that there's a bunch of rumors there. So they never once came out to deny any of the stuff, to clarify any of these claims, to say that no, that's not true. You never did. And yeah, it's just, at best, my sense of it is, at best, this has begun the final chapter of the story of GPP. But, and by that, what would come next is just more information coming out where it's like, oh, it's canceled, people are more willing to discuss it. And also, Kyle Bennett at Hard OCC, who is the person who originally broke the news back in March about, he got information from his contacts that his sources that he could not name because they were afraid. He said that there was a lot of stuff happening this past week in regards to GPP, so he wants to bring some of that to light, but he can't do that if it would burn his sources. If you do that, he will lose the ability to get sources in the future, and obviously that source, plus those people, could face serious repercussions. Like, there was actually one thing I saw, somebody supposedly got a copy of an email or something like that, or some sort of communication where manager at Gigabyte apparently told people to never discuss GPP because of how serious the consequences could be. Yeah, it's... But still, it's done. At least by that name. Because it's like, yeah, best case scenario is we just find out more information about this. Worst case is that, no, it actually continues to exist. It just will be under a different name. And not so public, so it'll be harder for some people to track it. But once bitten, twice shy kind of deal. I'm sure that there would be plenty of people keeping an eye on it. But yeah, some things, like, I don't remember seeing for myself that there was some funkiness. What was some weird stuff going on with MSI's site and the listing of AMD GPUs. That I do remember noticing that, but it was still, there were ways to see the still gaming branded Radeon cards there. At least back when it was like, oh, they're disappearing. That's like, I could still see them, but I hadn't checked between then and yesterday. But over at Asus, they have added all the ROG Radeon GPUs back under ROG, and they have removed the stuff identifying the Ares brand that was made on Radeon, which is a little sad. I mean, I can completely understand it, but it would have been kind of neat if they had kept that brand and just still done stuff with it. But you know, it makes perfect sense why you don't want to, for the same reason that see, I had a feeling something was going to drop. For the same reason that just saying, oh well, it's just, you know, they can't use that branding. What does that really matter? And people were using it to defend the idea of NVIDIA taking over gaming brands. It's like, those companies invested likely millions of dollars to develop that brand. And not just, I mean, part of it, like with ROG, RS, Gaming X, for Asus, Gigabyte, and MSI respectively, and other companies as well. They do hardware. They do change up the hardware there. So there are certain actual technological advantages to gaming versus non-gaming. Yeah, so they may have more aggressive cooling. They may have more aggressive power systems on there. Excuse me. I like had a bubble in my throat just as I was saying that. So it's like there is a technological reason why you would prefer a gaming over not. And I mean, probably motherboards are a better example of that, or at least an easier to see example. The more expensive gaming motherboards may have more phases in there, so it can deliver more power, deliver it more cleanly, better cooling on there to enable just in general better performance, and so on. Like how a lot of people I've seen talking about with the Ryzen 2000 series processors, don't put the 2700X on a B350 motherboard. Those were not designed, generally, there may be one or two exceptions, to be able to deliver the power that thing wants, or to handle the heat, so don't do that. You would only want to use one of the higher end X370 boards with one of those. Although they are also saying that like the normal 2700, the non-X version, and the 2600s. There we go. I was trying to think of that. I'm saying that those are, because they should be drawing less power. Those would be able to handle it. But yeah, so there are technological advantages. There's also potentially there may be some advantages for branding. I could even see internally where it's like, oh, this is the gaming card. Okay, we're going to make sure that, you know, the warranty on that, that the service for that is a bit higher, because you know, this isn't just, you know, I personally just could see that if you had to delegate resources at a higher level, higher priority, maybe not by much, but, and even then only if you need to delegate. But I could see that being the case. But regardless, it's still a millions of dollars spent for that. Versus with Asus, it's like, well, we'd have to spend another several million to put together the Aries, to build up the Aries brand. Do that. Yeah, we'll push it back over to ROG. But if they, I'd be kind of happy if they brought back Aries in some way and had it be a Radeon exclusive kind of thing. That'd be fine with me. Yeah, it's a funny idea if they put together like the Aries gaming box, and like how we're seeing the combat boxes, which MSI at least did. I think also Gigabyte, where you could get a AMD CPU motherboard and in some cases also a GPU. But like do that but target more for gamers than just I mean those combat boxes, it's like, yeah, they're not bad, although mainly the pricing isn't that great. Doing that would be kind of more targeting gamers, so a higher and a better CPU, or at least newer and better GPU in there. But anyway, so yeah, GPUs. Coming back around to that, which is where I started. Yeah, I mean, we know Aries is dead. We don't know what MSI and Gigabyte may have been working on. Okay, I know I saw it. Did I just... Is it just, okay, I just didn't go far enough up here. Because that AMD blog post back then, at the same time that Aries was announced, did hint that there would be more announcements coming like that, you know, of more Radeon-specific brands being released. So have those all been canceled, or do we still see some stuff? See, and another advantage to having those brands is at least there's the implication, it is implied, it may not be accurate, but it's implied that the company, in this case AMD, has a direct connection to that ad-board partner. Now, obviously, they already will, but it may be like a, oh, this is, like, AMD is involved in this. It may not fully be true, but it can still give that appearance. So, yeah, but... yeah, so it's... Calban says there's more to come. I think there will be, but hopefully it does just sort of almost a nail in coffin kind of deal, where it's like, you know, the coffin's closed, but now we're getting the information out about this, and we're gonna let it finally go to rest. But it's also possible that that the program is going to continue under a different name, possibly with different terms. It's also possible because I know there were some people saying EU should be looking into this, the FTC should be looking into this and such, things like that. If those investigations already started, I'm not sure if that would have stopped. See, I don't know the laws about it, but I just, at least personally, if I were investigating, if I had reason to consider investigating a company with as much money and market share as Nvidia for doing something like this, and it's like, even if it's just okay, we're figuring out if there actually is cause here to investigate, they ended the program without ever making a public statement about it prior, saying, you know, trying to counter any of these claims. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to stop looking into that. I'm really not. I keep looking, and if the investigation had already started, then it's like, yeah, I'm going to keep looking, because it's... just because you stopped doing something illegal doesn't mean that it's okay, that you're okay. That is, of course, with a very, very heavy assumption there about it being illegal, because I don't know. It might not be. It's highly possible that those investigations will be done, and it will come out that, no, there's nothing illegal here. Entirely possible. I'm just stating my opinion that I wouldn't, a company as large as and as powerful in the industry as Nvidia, if there's reason to consider investigating, it's stopping that. That reason isn't going to make me stop. It's just not that there's something there, but that this is a company very much in the position of being able to bully people, bully other companies around. We don't want that, so we're going to look at this. One thing I've seen an interesting point made about, though, apparently the person that put up both GPP-related blog posts on the NVIDIA blogs used to work at Intel, and some people noted that the timing of that, he would have been at Intel at the same time that Intel was using its what was it called? The marketing funds. I don't remember the actual name in there, but this was actually something that Kyle Bennett specifically mentioned in his original piece about it. The relationship between the idea of giving marketing funds to help a company sell products, and what Intel did with companies like Dell and I think also HP, where they basically were paying these companies to use Intel, to the point, but also not just to use Intel, but to not use AMD, which was illegal, and Intel was fined billions of dollars for it. It's the program lasted long enough, though, that Intel still reaped tremendous benefits from it. Yeah. So some people are suggesting that it may be that this guy just thinks that that's how you are allowed to do business, which would not be the case. But more information, I'm sure, will come out. But yeah, just hopefully it will serve as something as like a sobering moment that people are going to be more, try to be more aware of certain things and watch for certain behaviors and such. I don't know. I mean, personally, I get the hard way that either I want for a technical reason, or that it is what I need to do certain things. I'm running a RX Vega 64, which I'm still amazed I managed to get it at MSRP the week of release, not day of release. It released on Monday or Tuesday. I actually saw it on Amazon at MSRP on that Thursday, and it's like, and it's funny because I was even like, I don't want to spend, oh man, what was it, $600? I think was the MSRP, and it's like, I know for the 64 that's not that great a price. The 56 at its price was good, but it's like, okay, I know I want the Wolfenstein game though, and that's $60 then. And I know I want, and it's, Prey was the other game. It's like, yeah, Prey I could probably get less than MSRP, but it's still, you know what, I don't have it, my interest in it isn't great, but I'm still interested in it, so I still need to play it. I do, I've been too busy with the other, I got so many games in my library that I need to play. I put way too much emphasis into this one ability. And it's, you know, yeah, I know that with the Vega 64, because I had the GTX 1080 before it. Well, I still have it, it's just not installed.
Your inventory is
like,
full.
yeah, it's the GTX 1080 is plenty powerful. It's not like I necessarily got more by flipping, by going to the Vega. Although there are definitely some games that do like Vega better, and they're also I only need to do this once, because then I got Threadripper, and
How could you pass up such a
the
staff as this?
artificial limit
Oh, have you seen
that
the
NVIDIA has in
on
place
this bracelet?
on NVENC, the built-in 264 and now 265. I don't remember when they added the 265 encoder. If that was... Actually, I should look at that. You know what? Yeah, I will hang on to that.
Come again?
That Kepler was the first of the
Auspicious
architectures that had it in, yeah, still need to launch the and then manage all the inventory. Okay, so that needs to yeah, they arbitrarily limited to 2 encoding streams,
So long, noble hero.
and I wanted to be able to do 3. Well, in AMD with the VCE video encoding engine, they don't care. You can have as many streams going as you can have as many encoding streams as you want. Have fun. And he did that once when I did my recordings in Scanosama. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't. I think I did both heart rate and gaze tracker in those recordings, and I was able to do that because I could record three streams using the VEG 64, and I was plenty happy. And then I upgraded to Threadripper, and now I just do it on the CPU, which is awesome. That is a lot more offensive capability. I'm just saying, because normally you get it. And the other characters are much more sloggy than this. Yeah, so I had that technical reason for why. No, I did want to try at least Vega. But also just seeing how certain things work and some of the technologies. I like chill. And I love Walkman, by the way. I mean, having that control within the drivers and being able to have specific profiles for different games, that's excellent. I love that. I mean, there are people that still say that NVIDIA drivers are so much better. It's like, yeah, not really. Maybe they have, you know, like 1 or 2 performance advantages, but as far as usability and the features they offer, no. AMD kills it. I don't want to keep that. I'm just trying to. I'm sure I'm gonna die to Typhon when I go to him. Well, I'll probably die multiple times. Okay, so I just want to quickly explain. I'm pretty sure this is how Titan Quest ends at Olympus. Everything else here, that is from the Immortal Throne expansion. I'm pretty sure that's how the breakdown is. Well, anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's really, the drivers are such a better experience. Well, the interface for them. But just, if all you're looking for is just install and use, then obviously that doesn't matter to you, so then yeah, you can probably say that in general, on average, the 1080 beats the VEG 64. Then it's like, well then yeah, go ahead and get the 1080. Get what's best for you. But if you do like tweaking this stuff and don't necessarily want to rely on a third-party tool, which that is one thing I know I might be weird about. That I do not want to have to rely on third-party tools. This is... AMD gives you what you want. There was something else that entered my mind. Oh yeah, also the whole... And didn't I... Was it just last week I mentioned this? No, I mentioned it not too long ago. That Vega is the first consumer GPU that has full full DirectX 12 feature level support. So, and also there have been, it is interesting the trends that people are noticing, which may or may not be accurate. It is so weird because of just how optimizations are done in the industry. But that when you see games using newer, like DirectX 12 and Vulkan, and pushing that, and actually working hard on the optimization there, Vega can really beat Pascal. I mean, or like the 1080, it'll dominate. The 1080 Ti maybe not, but it still is in the neighborhood that, you know, if 1080 Ti is supposed to be the end-all be-all, the Vega 64 is way too close. But that's only a few titles at this point. So it's a question of, will we see that continue to be the case, or not? Oh, and also, I did mention this last week, that what will we see as far as these NVIDIA optimizations going into Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And I did see something, yeah, that's right, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and was also a NVIDIA-sponsored game. But it actually didn't, at least not at launch. I don't recall it having much that was actually NVIDIA limited. It did eventually get that VXAO that was new, but that was patched in the beta. And well, I haven't gone back to see how that runs on Vega. But at least with that, it was an option. And you still had other very good ambient occlusion options in there. So I think HBAO Plus was there. That runs nicely on Vega, it seems. But then also, my experience with HBO Plus has been kind of weird to use. Because, like, I'll see things talking about how, oh, there's such performance hit from it. It's like, I turn it on, I don't notice anything. I know it's also possible that I was consistent, because I was mostly noticing this on both my old computers. But definitely the last one, that was a 4-core, Jesus, A10 5800K. So that was the top of the line AMD APU for that series, 5800K, that I had overclocked. So it was only quad-core, but it's overclocked to 4.4 gigahertz. So it was very possible he was bottlenecking in the GPU. So I wonder if maybe that could have been part of the reason why. Whereas now the CPU shouldn't be bottlenecking my GPU as hard. Some undoubtedly, but because I don't have that high clock speed, which has actually something that's a little troubling. Just some issues with it not really liking. Sometimes the 4 gigahertz overclock it doesn't like, and I don't know why. But it's like edge case kind of stuff though. It's like I can't stream at 4 gigahertz reliably because X264, if running that, it doesn't like. But also there was some game I was something on the site, and it crashed up twice. Now there was also a hot day, but it hadn't crashed before, so I popped down to 3.7 gigahertz and it's happy there. I do need to figure out if I can go above 3.7. It's just that literally was the other profile in Rise of Nazareth that I've just been using. That is popping with that open. But I wouldn't be surprised if I could use 3.8 or 3.9 even. It's just something really cool. I also saw one thing. I'm wondering if maybe if I try, and yes, I am kiting this guy. That is how you do it. Sadly. Shit. But I'm wondering about maybe loosening the timings on the RAM. It should. I have it at 3206 with timings of 14, which is not what the RAM was tested at. The RAM was tested at 3616. I don't know if it can handle it. I don't know if my system will be able to do that because the first Gen Ryzen were kind of stopping at around like 3200. So now, true, it is Threadripper, so it may have better luck, but it still is a just. I don't really know what I can. But that I could see making sense. It is just a weird memory issue that I've been running into. And that X264 is just using enough memory that it's hitting that and the game ran into it. But then it's also, at that point, I had probably 20 hours in without issue, and it's only on the day that it was very hot. But it was hard locking, just like, so I don't know. I do wish I knew some of the different overclocking options better. Like the load line calibration stuff to help rein in the power usage. I do know that, perhaps oddly, it likes using a voltage offset. Like actually just setting the voltage to the same thing it didn't like as much as just using voltage offset. Which is kind of fun. But I can, yeah, I've seen that before. Like on the 5800K things, was that I had to leave the voltage at auto. Even if I manually set it to the voltage, it was actually go to. It would crash, it would be unstable. If I left it on auto, it was better, it was stable, and it also, not only was it stable, but it also used less, because then it would drop the voltage down, just, you know, the whole, hey, I don't need as much, I don't need as much right now, so I do this. Very happy, but I am only as an observer curious about what the Threadripper refreshes in the Zen Plus version, because apparently that is coming. I think it is something though there won't be an epic based on Zen Plus, that will be, we won't see something new there until Zen 2, which is what I think they was to do with Threadripper. Yeah, I am a little curious. I mean, the better precision boost with Threadripper could be very interesting. I might die here. Oh wow, I disappeared. Hell away from but that across those 16 cores, that could be very powerful. But yeah, I mean, I've been they have, so I'm not, I wouldn't want to upgrade. Maybe Zen 2 would be tempting, depending on what they do there. But even then, I probably wouldn't, because I mean, this is just, I'm in this very nice position of having exactly what I want, and it's going to last me for years. And it's, I think I mentioned this before, one weird thing about it, I killed him. Wasn't even on the screen at the time, but I killed him. It's kind of weird to think that the next computer I build, the CPU might technically be less powerful.
Hail, mighty hero. I am Zeus, king of the Olympian gods. We are eternally thankful for your aid in stopping Typhon. No one would have ever thought that a human could defeat a titan. The epic heroes would kneel before you, and perhaps they shall. The conduit between our realms was destroyed. You have proven that men are ready to become the masters of their own fates. Your mortal world is not yet safe, but the responsibility now is yours. Go, greatest of heroes. There is much left to be done.
Alright. I didn't want to talk over it. Yeah, it's just kind of funny to think that the next CPU I go to might be like the 2700X or 3700X, something like that. Or 4700X. So it'll be a while. And it's just that's kind of funny to think about. Because technically, in some ways, it would be less powerful. So, okay, so this is... I'm pretty sure this is where Immortal Throne actually starts. So
I am blind, but I see. I see a new journey awaits. Your deeds above have created strife below. You must find your way to where all men are destined. Else many of the greatest shall be lost. Seek the sorceress of the Ixian wood. Only she can show you the way.
Alright. I want to just move forward so I can get to the waypoint. And... no, it's still early enough. I think... I don't want to push into this in this video, but I do want to...
Medea came to the Ixian wood years ago, and now she is known simply as the sorceress. Perhaps she helps many, but those who seek her also risk her wrath.
I cannot get iron. The price of bronze. You're lucky I've got anything for sale. Goodbye.
There.
A fine day to ease your burden.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dump these into the storage stuff as well. Oh man. There. Yeah, I'll probably do something like, if any duplicates I'll put in there and just have like only 2 of each of those not in there. I don't know.
Hera, smile
My
on you.
son has fallen terribly ill. The healers could do nothing. We asked Medea for help, but she is cruel. She told me she would not help unless I brought her the tome of some ancient queen. How would I get such a thing? There was one of Medea's students. She wanted...
So there's that.
Word is that a great shelled monster as big as a trireme has come ashore
That's
at
a boat.
Dematria. There are only 2 ways into Dematria, through the cave of Orthia or by sea. I suppose there is only one way into Dematria now.
That. Dang, I just. That actually does look like that. That may be a pretty good. Pretty good shield. Back to that. Oh. No. I just had a lot right there. Alright, Alright, so let me... I'm just trying to remember the path. I think I want to go here. For this, the farming route I've set up. And I might do some of that more like off camera. But it involves, yeah, basically, yeah. I would have the spawn in here, I come out, I destroy, there's 3 or 4 in the area of the things, the obelisks. Then I teleport over here to go there to get the Telkine there, and then I go and do the 1 Jade Palace one. Well, sorry, not Jade Palace. The Palace of Chang'e. because that, I guess that having this ability is that, it is that effective. Because I'm really serious. The other hero that I have going had a much harder time with Typhon. And I don't think it's just because I know what I'm doing against Typhon now. I think it is that this guy is, and I'll say that's because of that ability, is just doing that much more damage. Oh, I just remembered something else from the news of the week, the tech news of the week to talk about. And some people are making a much larger deal of it than I think is appropriate for the moment. And that is ASRock not being allowed to sell its Phantom Gaming graphics cards, which are currently only AMD, only Radeon, in Europe. And that, according to a sales manager, an ASRock sales manager, that is because AMD has not given them permission to sell them. And some people are taking that as being taking it very harshly, especially against AMD. Like, I think the video cards thing ended that it's just trying to say that AMD is critical for proclaiming to be about freedom of choice, but won't allow consumers the option to buy this other retail part. The thing is that these contracts to sell in certain regions can just be we can't actually have another reseller there. There's how the contracts are written, we're kind of limited to how many can be in a certain region, and ASRock was late to the game. And it was weird, because the video cards even pointed out that the same author that was saying that, oh, it looks like AMD may be hypocritical here, was also pointing out that, yeah, there are other companies that they're not allowed to sell in Europe because there's just so many partners there already. You don't need another. There's also somewhere else that it made it look like, it's like it would be better to have ASRock be present in Asia, because AMD does not have as strong a presence there, at least in the case of video. So, whereas in Europe, they're basically covered, so they don't need so much. And that reminds me about the whole, Steam hardware survey stuff. But yeah, I mean, let's wait and see what happens with the ASRock regional availability when we get to the 600 series, assuming that there will be an RX 600 series, and not going to change the name, which is always possible. All these companies, it's always possible they will just up and change their naming schemes. As it is, AMD didn't really seem to follow theirs. As a 500 series, it would make more sense if it were the RX, like 4X 5, because they had a naming scheme they published. They made it public that when it's just a refresh, that but with some improvements, that you change that last digit to be a 5. But that, I mean, there might be more changes, but between 4 and 500 series that make it, it's a full step up. But it also did kind of seem like, now that should have been like the 580 should have been the 485. But anyway, whenever they go to the next one, assuming that ASRock is still interested in doing the work, and being in the market, maybe they'll be able to negotiate a contract to have a presence there. It's like, when you're late to the game, you may miss out on some things. That may be going on here. And we won't know for sure until we do see them actually at a launch of a cycle, and not just coming in the middle. What would be more interesting, though, would be the fact that they didn't have Vega, though. They haven't done Vega. Unless it's something like NVIDIA is saying, yeah, supplies on HBM for that are so low, we're not going to give them to you because you're new. We're going to keep it to partners that we've been working with for years. We got this stuff, though. We're more than happy with that, because we don't the supply isn't as bad. It's still bad. DRAM, which all DRAM manufacturing, which does impact GDDRs, the GDDR5 and 5X. At least I assume it also impacts 5X. All of that is being impacted by the shortages. Technically, HBM should be as well. I don't know enough about how it's manufactured to know if it would in some way stand out. Because HBM is stacked. It is 2.5D DRAM, which reminds me of another thing, TSMC's wafer on wafer. That could be very interesting. That could be very, very interesting when it comes to that. But regardless, it's I don't know how HBM would have been impacted, but HBM is still the whole. It's only used in currently very specific products, and it's new. Well, HBM2. So, yeah, we're not going to see it at very high volume for a while yet. So, yeah, it's going to be more expensive. And then there's the whole, oh, we need to make the package. We need to put it all on the interposer. So, it's not a simple thing there. So I could see that as the case. Man, this is interesting past 2 weeks. But yeah, so the wafer on wafer, oh my god, that, while that is likely still just going to be 2.5D, which is what HBM is, it's not full 3D. At least it didn't read to me like that. It may be a step towards full 3D circuitry, where you do, it's not just the planar stuff stacked together with through silicon vias to connect between them, but a full no, we designed this as a three-dimensional integrated circuit. I don't think we're there yet. I could be wrong. I just don't know. But it's still, this is, if it, especially if it allows you to have heterogeneous chip stacking, so you're not limited to like putting a CPU on top of a CPU, a GPU on top of a GPU, but putting memory on that. Imagine stacking HBM on top of the GPU. You will see the power usage go down, which in turn means heat produced will go down. Though it may also be harder to evacuate something. That depends. But I mean, so that could be, and the bandwidth would be immense from doing that. But that might not be something possible. But being able to stack GPU cores on top of each other, or CPUs on top of each other, that's still a big deal. Especially if you are able to do something like what AMD did with Infinity Fabric and Threadripper, and yes, also in the just base Zeppelin die, where you have two CCX modules connected together. They're on the same die, but they still do connect to each other as and exist in a way as separate entities, but they do share some resources. It's like if you managed that in a GPU and had it stacked like this, the latency between them would be much less, because they could be so much closer to each other. I mean, it really could become very, very interesting, very powerful. And also kind of goes along with some people. There were rumors, and I'm not believing in them right now because I don't feel like it's close enough for these rumors to be believable. There was some rumors last week, 2 weeks ago, that the Navi architecture, which is what AMD will have succeed Vega, that currently those dies, the architecture is only being designed at a performance level GTX 1080, which on its own would not be that great because GTX 1080 is kind of old. And while it's powerful, you do want better than that. You want to be more on level like a GTX 1080 Ti, or better yet, past that. So that would not be good news. But some people point out that we only know 2 or 3 things about Navi that are in any way technically significant. One is at 7 nanometer, and that undoubtedly will be true. There's no reason to think that that won't end up being the case in the final product. There's also, though, that when it was shown on a roadmap, it had the word scalability with it, which many have interpreted to mean that it will be like Ryzen, where it's going to use Infinity Fabric to connect together multiple dies to great effect, potentially, while keeping costs down. That is one thing that should not be forgotten about Infinity Fabric in Ryzen, is that that ability to have the full 1000 series, from the R3 1200 all the way up to the Threadripper 1950X, and well, also into Epic, using the same die. It's just packaging that is different between them, and obviously binning. That's amazing, and I'm sure saved AMD tremendous amounts of money because they don't need to worry about manufacturing so many different dies anymore, different kinds of dies. It's like if they managed that would be, with the Navi, that would be tremendous. And if it is that they can connect together, so you'd have like 2 GTX 1080s combined together or more, maybe 3, maybe 4, whatever, who knows. But that in a single graphics card, but that could be sold at, say, $400, $400 or $500. That would be exceedingly good performance at that price. Actually, well, yeah, 2, I would guess that you could see around $400 to $500. 3 or 4, you're probably getting up to like $600, but it would still be very good performance. So, and this is pure speculation because we won't even have Navi engineering samples probably until the end of the year. Like, that's the earliest we'd start seeing news about it. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I don't believe those rumors. Okay, there. But I mean, we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. It will likely be very interesting, though. Yeah, and hopefully, oh yeah, the third technical thing. So 7 nanometer, that scalability, that is what people were assuming. That's what people are speculating about. Might not be true, though. It's entirely possible it won't be true. The third thing, next-gen memory. I'm pretty sure that was described, that was put with Navi and not the next-gen core, whatever that is that comes after, which the latest rumor and speculation is that will be actually a change from GCN. Because they've been using GCN since the HD 7970, I think that was it? 7970 and 7950, I want to say, with the 2 GCN 1.0. And it is weird, the amount of hatred people have for GCN, without realizing that it is a very powerful, it really is a very, very powerful architecture. But it's more of a general architecture. It's not just gaming focused, not exclusively that. And there are definitely things that hopefully they will do, like increase the number of, is it ROPs or shader engines? I don't remember, but it's, GCN is like, even the Vega 64 and the cards from, the GPUs from a few years ago, only have 4 of these, and that really hurts its pixel fill rate. Whereas NVIDIA, they don't have the same limit there, so they'll have like 8. So that allows it to be much, much faster in rendering frames. That sort of change would be great, but it's still, GCN is a good architecture. It does need changes, though. It does, having a actual like full, no, here's new architecture would be a good thing for AMD to do. Maybe that's what they will do with the next thing. We'll see. Maybe they'll also be able to accomplish that with the Navi. Because let's just assume it's true, that they will be able to have multiple dice connected together. What if each of those dice had their own set of 4? Well, then 2 of them would give you 8. Might we see something like that? I have no idea. Random speculation there. It's completely, explicitly guessing. But still is interesting. Just, we don't know what's coming. It might be very, very interesting and might show that, hey, you know what, this stuff is better than you were thinking it was. But, yeah. So, let me see. We finally finished Titan Quest. Next up would be Immortal Throne, because I am going to keep going. It's just the base game that's finished. I want to do the expansions. GPP is dead, at least in name. There will undoubtedly be more information. Hopefully the program itself is completely terminated, but I'm sure we will see more information sometime next week or the week after. Yeah. Azrock can't be in Europe, but that may just be contract stuff that we'll see what happens when the next GPUs release. Infinity War, very good movie. Does have some that one CG issue I can't forget. Good movie though. I'm just blabbering. I normally do, don't I? Anyway, see you next time. I'll just see you next week. Yes, I don't think there's anything to stop me next week. That may change. It has been so weird lately. Hopefully I'll see you next week.